Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, that is right. We are back for a UFC Austin this weekend from where? That's right, Austin, Texas. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by Ty Capone. This is the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. We will talk about the UFC, MMA, boxing, anything under the combat sports umbrella. For anyone who is new joining us, thank you, as always, for giving us a listen and giving us a chance. We're going to give you every bet, pick, prediction, all the information you need to know on the card this weekend. Ty, how are you feeling? Are you excited? I am excited to be talking about some UFC again. We had a week off. We had to watch some. If anyone out there put themselves through the PFL card, you had to watch that. But it's good to get back into the combat sports world.
Yeah. What do you think about Impa Kasaganai being a millionaire? I think that's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool for those guys at PFL though who do well, win, and then like the Canadian gangsters, he hung his gloves up, man. He's done.
I knew it. I got a nice Canadian source of mine broke the news to me a couple weeks ago. So
really,
you heard it here first, folks. But yeah, he's done. I think he's a two-time winner.
Yeah, $2 million.
I mean, what a great career he pretty much had. I mean, he hasn't lost since he fought Arman Tsarukyan. Ironically enough, in 2019, he's won what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row, beating Clay Collard. Finishing off Stevie Ray, beating Natan Schultz, Ralph Manfio, Marcin Held, guys that were in the PFL for a while, you know what I mean? Beating Shane Burgos. He was supposed to be the big PFL signing. He said, nah, easy work. Bruno Miranda was a hot commodity at the time. So, and his losses in the UFC, he had a 3-fight losing streak. Tsarukyan, Burns, Alexander Hernandez, like 3, on their best days, absolute savages. And obviously he beat Rocco Martin, beat Evan Dunham, beat Drew Dober. Like, he had some good wins. Lost to Diego Ferreira. So, also beat Jake Matthews on the Contender Series, Ultimate Fighter. So, shout out to OAM, the Canadian gangster. Shout out to, who else? Henan Ferreira. Mr. Magomed Karamov, I think it's the second time he's won the tournament. Impa Kasaganai, he was homeless. He was sleeping in his car. A couple months ago. So the fact that he won the $1 million, that's awesome. Good for him. Kayla Harrison, just doing whatever she wants to Aspen Ladd. No one really expected differently. Jesus Pinedo, I don't know if you saw that. He smoked Mr. Braga, standing TKO. That was nice. And then your boy, Biagio Ali Walsh, knocks out some poor fuck and face plants him for probably like $5 for that guy. So
good for that guy.
PFL, I mean, dude, the main card, I think, took like 5.5 hours. That just can't happen. If you want to compete with the UFC, you cannot have a longer main card than them. It has to be shorter. It just has to be. Whatever you're doing, do less is my recommendation.
Yeah, the people didn't pay money to have you promote dude wipes in the middle of a segment, 30 minutes in between each fight. We are watching this to see the fights and get this over with. We're really not trying to spend our whole Friday night watching guys that we honestly don't really care about. I mean,
yeah, Big John McCarthy just rambling. You're like, all right, enough of this.
Yeah, so PFL has kind of made an enemy out of us with the whole Don Davis thing and the constant promotion of everything that they do. If the guy picks up a microphone, it's the proper 12 microphone of the night or something like that. It's a little bit out of control, but. Ty, let's just get right into it. We got a big card, not really huge, but it's a somewhat all right card compared to what we had to talk about last time and what we have to talk about next week, which is not to jump forward a little bit, but that's a rough one if you've looked at that one. But
don't look at it, folks.
Yeah, don't look at it. We got Beneil Dariush, Arman Tsarukyan, a 155 battle. We have a man who is, I don't know what kind of fucking ad just popped up on my thing, but we have Beneil Dariush.
X-Videos.
Yeah, no, it's not exactly. Some dude was just doing karate on my screen. I'm like, oh shit, he's fucking kicking the shit out of them boards. But Beneil Dariush plus 250, Arman Tsarukyan minus 300, 310. Big time favorite here. Dariush coming off of he got eliminated, right? by Charles Oliveira in, what was that, June? During the, oh, geez, that's right, Amanda Nunes and Aldana. Oh, my God. That was a rough night. That was a main event, and then they were the co-main. Mike Malott. Yeah, that's right. Nobody wonder who bought that fight.
The card I absolutely shit the bed on, and I think went 0 for like 30. And Team Canada swept us. So
no, that's right. We were fading Canadians all night long, and we got cucked. That's exactly right. And Arman Tsarukyan is coming off of a win in June as well against Joaquim Silva, where he had a third-round elimination of him. So
did the chicken dance too, though.
He did do the chicken dance. I think I had him decision that night, and he kind of screwed me over. I remember watching that at the bar. I made the guy at the bar turn the fights on. He was like, really? I was like, yeah, no. I need that on that TV right there. I need UFC Fight Night. Like, what channel? I'm like, you shouldn't even have to ask that, but ESPN.
Yeah, come on, bro. 206.
Come on,
29.
bro. You watch MMA, bro, but...
You want to fight right now?
I mean, I think Dariush is a little bit too much of an underdog in this one, but I still don't have confidence in him to win this fight. This seems like it's I don't really have a real feel on this one. I think Tsarukyan has shown that he has all the skill in the world, and he is just a all action grappler and can take you down and smash you on the ground, he can knock you out on the feet too, which he did to Christos Gallegos, but that's Christos Gallegos. But what do you have a feeling on this fight? Do you have a bet that you like right off the rip? Because I don't really even. It might be a couple weeks in a row where I don't bet the main event. I don't really have a good feeling on this.
Yeah, usually I'm a proponent of staying away from the main event. I've gotten fucked over a lot on main events, so I think I might stay away. I feel like if there is a play, it might be Benny. I think he might be the play. I think he his last fight was obviously tough. But he looked good against Gamrot. He had that post-fight speech that was interesting. He seems like, he has that nice guy persona, but he's a killer. So it's kind of, he's a strange fighter. He's a strange person in general. Not strange in that sense, but, he just seems like the nicest person ever. But his fight style, balls to the wall. Remember the Drakkar Klose fight, almost got his ass, put out, and then he put him out.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty much the end of that Drakkar Klose hype train. Jeremy Stevens gave him a nice little shove that ended up concussing him, which is crazy. And then tore his ACL. Poor guy. We'll talk about him later. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Benny has a bad gas tank, but I do think his fight style can possibly lead to that. Tsarukyan has a pretty aggressive style. He goes after it too with his wrestling and scrambling, but I feel like his cardio has lasted pretty well. I think he's been in a 5-rounder, and Beneil has not. So that's something to think about. I think Beneil's never lost a fight that's went the distance. But like I said, sometimes he will, just wear himself out. Not really obviously he'll tire, but kind of does it to himself. It's not a gas tank issue. Remember the Evan Dunham draw? He, tried killing him in the first round, and after that lost the next two. So I'm not sure. I like Tsarukyan a lot. Obviously, his debut was crazy against Islam. I don't know, that loss ages well every day, which sounds crazy, but I don't know. He also has like a grind him out style. He likes to get on top control, nasty ground and pound. His hands are getting better. I just think his striking defense is the issue. I think like I said, he can hit you. He can throw some good kicks, very hard kicks. He throws aggressive body kicks. But yeah, like I said, I just think he can get hit easily. He can get his face. We've seen his face get busted up a little bit. And I just think this is probably a fight where he's going to settle in after some wild scrambles, because getting Dariush down and just scrambling, wrestling, grappling with him, especially right away when the fight starts, is hell on wheels. Dariush is sneaky athletic. I know he has that gray hair, even though he's he's pretty young. But he is, and it doesn't look like the best athlete, kind of stiff the way he moves, but he gives you hell in those scrambles, man. So I think Tsarukyan's going to have to, calm down, kind of fight methodically, maybe throw some kicks, slow him down, try to hit him hard, and then go for a takedown in the middle of the first round or late first round, and then get some top control, get some ground and pound. And I think that's probably what he's going to do and how he's going to win. I just I don't know if he's going to finish him or not, so I don't really have an edge at all, honestly. Here, I don't really know. I feel like I should, but I'm going to go with Tsarukyan by decision, which I think it's going to be the first fight Dariush ever loses by decision. But I guess I could see a bunch of different factors here. I could see a bunch of different things happening. So I'm going to stay away betting-wise, but that will be my pick, and I think I'm pretty confident.
I worry about Tsarukyan being able to get Dariush to the ground. You know, I don't know. Like you kind of mentioned, it's the scrambles, and it seems like it's hell. I mean, Gamrot kind of had that similar mindset or game plan, and he really was not successful at all. He was getting knocked down, like flash knocked out, and getting back up, which we can all agree that Gamrot's not human. But I don't know, man. Tsarukyan also did lose to Gamrot, so it's just that's something that just sticks in my mind. And I think the line itself is a little bit of an overcorrection from him getting knocked out by Charles Oliveira, but Charles Oliveira is Charles Oliveira. He's if not he's the number one next to maybe 1B next to Islam Makhachev, which that's not exactly a disrespect or a negative, because Islam Makhachev is head and shoulders above everybody at 55. So if there was a secondary champion, if there was an intercontinental champion, to bring my WWE into
Rob
this,
Van Dam.
it would be, shout out Rob Van Dam, but it would be Charles Oliveira. So I don't really discredit him for losing that fight in the fashion that he did. I just, I can't get that out of my head, and I can't get out of my head how good Beneil had looked before that and in all these different fights. And I want to take Beneil moneyline here. I really do. I think it is a perfect spot for a somewhat of a vet lesson, but I just don't trust that he may not get caught or something and knocked down, or that maybe that, he is 34. He's getting up there. He's not old necessarily, but age could be catching up to him in some ways. So you just don't know what these guys are going to look like. And Tsarukyan is in his prime pretty much. So I don't really trust it, but guess what? I am going to do it. I'm going to take Beneil Dariush moneyline at plus 250 here to kick this off. Since we haven't been here in a while, I am not going to let this opportunity pass me by. Dariush moneyline plus 250, and we will keep it moving. You think that's crazy? Is it like that outlandish?
No, I mean, Tsarukyan's takedown accuracy, I think, is like 35%. Dariush's defense is 80%. I think some of that could be skewed, but yeah, maybe we see the best Tsarukyan we've ever seen. But again, he's 27. He's had lapses before. I don't think he's immune to having more lapses. He's what is he? Let's see. I know he's undersized. I just don't know how much undersized. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty noticeable difference.
3 or 4 inches smaller than him, height wise. I think
so.
Similar reach.
Maybe parts of this the Gamrot fight show their head again. I guess he lost to Makhachev by decision, lost to Gamrot by decision. I can see him losing to Dariush by decision, like you said, a little bit of a vet lesson. But I do think highly of Arman, so
I do.
I guess he might be the safe pick. But Dariush has done it before, man. He's upset people before, and I think some people are trying to push him out of the top 5, top 10 conversation. And I don't think he's ready to be out of there yet. So we shall see.
Make no mistake, I'm not disrespecting Tsarukyan at all. I know how good he is. I sometimes think the Tsarukyan conversation centers around how good he looked in that Makhachev fight, and people want to push him up to that level to get him to fight him again. Because if he wins this fight, he's probably right there in line for next at the Islam shot, and he would deserve it. Yeah. Other than Charles, there's a couple guys ahead of him, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a holding/waiting pattern. But I like Beneil talking about how Poirier didn't want to fight it. He turned him down 3 different times, so that was a little interesting. Poirier kind of wants to pick and choose. It seems like Poirier's kind of cooked. That sometimes when you fight McGregor, man, all that money starts coming in. You're like, you know what? I don't really need to do this anymore. It's
fair enough.
I don't blame you.
Trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's sitting around waiting for the red panty night, as some would say. But
absolutely.
And the stories around Conor McGregor not that great right now. It's things. He
as always.
He had a child though. He had another one. He just leaves it in, man. He does not give a shit. But we keep it moving. Back to the central focus of what we have going on. It was supposed to be Bobby Green and Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker I believe, re-injured his arm. Is that what happened?
Something like that. Yeah, not great.
Not great. I mean, Dan Hooker, there's
take some time off there, Dan.
Yeah, there's always something going on, or it seems like, he goes to war and then he tries to fight again 5 minutes later, and they're like, dude, your leg's broken. He's like, ah, shit, you're right. And then they have to find a replacement. So Jalen Turner hops in to fight Bobby Green. And Ty, were you able to see any of the press conferences or just any of the little clips that you've seen? It seems like Jalen Turner's real down in the dumps this week. I did not like the vibe from him whatsoever. He was full of excuses, all for everything. And he's a minus 200, 210 favorite against Bobby Green, who was getting into it with a member of Tsarukyan's team in the hotel lobby.
Of course he was.
Of course, exactly. There's always something going on with Bobby Green, and anytime
angry Georgians.
I was going to say, anytime of these Eastern European gentlemen get in there, it gets a little bit wild. So, do you like anything here? I don't know. I like Bobby. Just from what I told you with the demeanor of Jalen Turner, I did not like that at all. It's never a good sign, especially when you're making a late notice. Like he said something like he didn't have a choice in turning down this fight. I'm like, well. Yeah, you did. You could just always say no, but he's much bigger than Bobby Green. I'll be curious. This seems like a fight you might want to wait until after the weigh-ins to see if Jalen Turner even makes weight or how he looks on the scales or if this fight even happens, but I guess I'd like to hear your opinion.
Yeah, he missed weight last fight, right? And that was a full camp, so 12 days notice. I think he's a lock to miss weight here. Let's see if he did miss weight last fight. I think he did.
He weighed in 158 pounds, it says on here.
Yeah, not very close. So, a lot of red flags. He's not passing the vibe check. That's for sure. Also, he's going to try to, do whatever he can to make weight for this fight. And he's always had a gas tank issue. He's always been a guy who slows down. Obviously, the Hooker fight was a great example of that. He was beating his ass in the first round, and that's pretty much it. So, I think with this short notice, I feel like it's just kind of a lock, kind of a guarantee, kind of a easy prediction that he will slow down, he will wear down later in the fight. But will it get that far? He's a very destructive striker. He has an elite frame. He knows how to use it. I kind of think he's a fraud, but he might also be like the best 12-7, 13-7 fighter ever. He has some tough losses that he's still young. Also, I mean. He's kind of been through a bunch of different versions of event lessons. He's only 28, which is crazy. And some of the guys he's lost to, Luke, Frivola, Gamrot, Hooker, these are good fighters, man. I mean, I know he used to get finished back in the day a lot. He has an 11-second knockout loss in his third pro fight. But I think his chin's gotten better. I think his punch retention has gotten better. I think he can, his all around game has gotten better. But he can be clipped. He can definitely slow down. He's got the really, really good front kicks, good teeps.
Yeah.
Good head kicks also. He can kind of just wrap his long limbs around. And I just like Bobby Green's his movement. I know he fights with his hands down a lot, but he's super tough. He's super durable. He's got really good boxing, kind of stick and move. I think this fight might look like a little bit like the Fiziev fight when he fought Rafael Fiziev, in which I think he lost a close one. Let's see. I want to see how old Bobby Green is. 37. Yeah, I mean he's old, but it seems like he hasn't shown that he's that old, right? I feel like he's not wearing down. I feel like he's not slowing down. I know he got finished by Drew Dober and Islam Makhachev back to back, but two tough guys. And then the arm triangle Tony Ferguson was impressive. That I don't even know what the line was at. The line on that was
unbelievable.
Yeah. Especially the manager if he had third round sub. And I had him last fight against Grant Dawson. He was a huge underdog for whatever reason, +3, 400, and he smoked him in 30 seconds. So, I know that fight just happened, but 2 months ago. But again, 30 seconds of Grant Dawson, nothing. I don't know, man. I'm back on the Bobby Green hype train. I'm on the underdog hype train. I'm going to take Bobby Green money line.
Wow, I'm with you.
Survive round one, and I think we're good.
I think I'm with you, man. Why not? Because I just clicked something and it had odds for Conor McGregor versus Ronda Rousey. I'm like, what are we What are we doing here? But
Ronda Rousey minus 500.
Minus 500. She actually will show up. Connor won't pass the drug test. I am with you on this, though, because not to say, like, you laid out the way that Jalen Turner wins. It's going to be early on. The later this fight goes, the better it is for Bobby Green. I don't like how old Bobby Green is, but I don't really think that that's going to necessarily play a factor. Bobby Green, Jalen Turner's big. I will say, if Jalen Turner makes weight, I'm 100% pound. Like, I would have no problem betting Bobby Green. We got plus 180 on here. If Jalen Turner maybe misses weight to the effect of a 59-60 and Bobby Green accepts the fight still, then I wouldn't bet
That's tough.
I would not bet it then, because then that means he didn't even try, basically. And, Bobby Green's just accepting it because he wants to make some bread. And it's just, he won't gas out as much like we're counting on. But the closer he gets to 55, the better it is for us. I think we're going to go Bobby Green here, plus 180, both of us. And we will keep it moving. Now, wow. Underdog city for me today. Very rare that I do this. But
shout out to the Underdog app.
Shout out to the Underdog app. I don't know. They don't pay me, though, so I don't shout them out too much. Rob Font, Davison Figueiredo. Davison Figueiredo, the sniper. Right? Or is that his nickname? Deuce Tiguera? Or is his brother's the sniper, isn't it?
Yeah. Frank, come on, man. It's Francisco Figueiredo.
My bad. I wish it was Francisco fighting this weekend. But no, I'm just kidding. Rob Font, Davison Figueiredo. What do we have here as the odds? Davison Figueiredo is a underdog. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on.
Woo! Bless you.
All right, we got plus 122, 115 to Rob Font's minus 130, 145, I think you're getting on here at some things. I'm surprised to see Rob Font as a favorite, but I guess with this guy making his jump up to 35 and Font coming off of, I'm pretty sure it was the last time we saw him was Yanez. Oh, no, he lost to Corey Sandhagen.
I think he, out wrestled by Corey Sandhagen.
Yes, I did.
Sandhagen, very snoozer, if you will.
Yeah, and that was the one where Sandhagen had the fucked up elbow or tricep or something along those lines. But I don't really necessarily hold that against him because I don't think that's going to be happening in this fight. What do you make of these odds? I don't know if I really... I mean, Font's obviously going to have the size advantage on him. So I probably would bet Font. I guess that seems like it's tough to make that jump from 25 to. I mean, he was already a big 25er, but I don't know. Ty, Font's got good boxing. He's been, he's a pretty good counter puncher. Seems like this could be a situation where these guys wind up standing in front of each other for a little bit, trying to counter each other, and there's not a lot of action. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Rob Font, or as we like to call him in Brazil, Hob Funch. He lead jab, king of volume. Except that last fight, he only had, I think, 9 strikes landed against Sandhagen. But he got taken down a bunch. His takedown defense, funny enough, has improved over the years. The numbers aren't great offensively or defensively. In general, his numbers aren't the prettiest. I guess strikes landed compared to strikes absorbed is pretty good. I think it's 2 full strikes more, but. I really do look at his jab, how good it is, how quick it is, how much it snaps, and I think that could be the X factor in this fight. It's only 3 rounds. Font doesn't really take shots nearly as well as he used to. Not that he ever did, but I still think that's an issue, right? Because Davison Figueiredo hits fucking hard. We've seen Rob Font against some South Americans not take shots very well, right? Jose Aldo dropped him twice. Chito Vera dropped him 3 times. What else? I thought there's one more. I think the Sun South fight, lost that one. So I just don't know what to make of Figgy jumping up. I think it's about time. He's making the move. He's training at Fight Ready now. I think that's awesome. He used to fight. I think he was training in Brazil with the same camp that he's been with forever. It's good to see him move to a camp in the States, kind of just get out of your comfort zone. So I'm glad that he's doing that. And I think we have seen guys do pretty well moving up in their prime. I do think Figgy is still in his prime. Not much left, but he's 35. And he's been in a lot of tough fights, but really killing himself to make 125. I think was a huge factor in some of those Moreno fights. The one Moreno, I think it was the third or second, where he just looked like shit pretty much and got smoked it seemed like every round, and he was getting hurt and he was just not He didn't have the sting on his shots. So I really think that matters a lot. Like I said, Kelvin Gastelum, when he went up to 185, looked great. Dustin Poirier, when he finally went up to 155, Alex Pereira at 205. So, every case is different, but I think this could really suit him well. Maybe it's a little too late. That's my only issue. I love how I love his calf kicks. I love his power. I think he has a pretty good jab himself. I like his movement. Sometimes he's a little inactive, right? I think he feints a little bit. He waits a little bit. I don't know how much of this fight's going to take place on the ground or in the clinch, but I feel like Figgy is surprisingly tough in those areas. I don't know. Font's bigger. he's the naturally bigger guy, and also he's been at this weight class for a while. I don't know. I don't think he takes shots that well. I don't think either guy has the best striking defense. So I don't know. I thought I was going to have an edge here. I thought I was going to really love Figueiredo because that's my guy, but I think Font might be able to get this done. I think he might be able to do more. I think he's going to probably win. Find a way to win the rounds. And I think I got Rob Font decision, but again, no bet.
I'm with you on the Rob Font. I think I might be betting TKO here at plus 275. I think is what I have the number at here. Oh, we get plus 330. Wow. Oh, FanDuel. Holy shit. Shout out to
FD,
FanDuel.
Baby.
FD getting it done here. The reasoning for that would be Figueiredo was not taking shots well at 25, and it's understandable. He's cutting a lot of weight, and now he's going up, so maybe he would have a better chin, more, just more energy, more everything. But I worry that he wasn't able to really knock Moreno out. I mean, he was maybe able to knock him down, but is his power going to elevate going up to 35? I worry about that. And I just worry about how he struggled at that. I just worry towards the end he was struggling at 25. And was that the weight, or was it the fact that maybe he's just getting older now and he doesn't have the same juice behind him that he used to? I don't know. I just worry when you go up this in weight like this, especially like I said, with the smaller guys going up in weight, there's a big difference between 25, 35, 40. It's a big time difference, I feel. So I think Rob Font with his boxing, he's going to... I mean, if Brandon Moreno was knocking you down, I think Rob Font will somehow find a way to knock you down and probably get you out of there.
I'll start with that jab, man.
Yeah, and I think the more technical striker is Rob Font. And I think Davison kind of just is... He's a good striker, but he waits on that one punch. And he was a master at 25 because, for the most part, he was a lot bigger than a lot of these guys that he was fighting. I think he's going to struggle with the size and the reach difference in this fight, and I think Rob Font's going to have his way with him, and eventually he's going to get desperate, and he's going to get caught. So, Rob Font TKO plus 330. And
mark it up.
How about it? I'm making big plays here. I'm going to lose everything I have. Everything I have. Gone. How about Sean Brady making his return?
Quick.
Guys,
just random breaking news. The Week 15 Monday night Chiefs-Pats game has been flexed out. The new Monday night game is Birds against the Birds. Eagles-Seahawks will be Week 15 Monday night after the Week 14 Sunday night before the Week 16 Christmas Day game. Yes. Just wanted to throw that little sprinkle of news. First ever Monday night football flex, by the way.
Wow. All right. So there you go.
It's supposed to be Sunday at 4:30. Now it's Monday night.
There's some gentleman in Spain watching this right now who's like, well, what the fuck? What are they talking about? Like, what is this?
Get back to fights.
Yeah, get back to fights, and that's exactly what we'll do.
Yeah.
How about that? Is crazy though.
That is pretty wild.
Sean Brady, 15-1 against Kelvin Gastelum, who is not making his 70 debut, but he's still back at 70 after his win against Chris Curtis, which was that was at 70, right?
That was no. No, that was 185.
So I guess is this his first 70?
Well, first in a while.
In a little bit, right? Yeah, he used to fight there, but
Till and I forget who else.
Not Till. I think Till was at 85.
Till was at 185. I guess it was back in the day when he fought Magny, Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah,
Tim
all
Kennedy.
them guys.
Tim Kennedy was even 185. Yeah, I think Woodley, right? Woodley, Ellenberger.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been up and down. Also, a lot of 170 and 185 guys, for whatever reason, seem like they're all in the same division. So that kind of fucks me up.
I liked how people were pissed. They thought that he was going to look jacked, and then he came out and looked exactly the way Kelvin Gastelum always looks.
Yeah.
Just has
He looks good. I'll say
he does look good. I mean, he's a tough fucking dude, man. Doesn't matter how he looks. He is a problem for anybody who fights him. Sean Brady making his return after one of the more disappointing performances against Bilal Muhammad last October. So he took a full year off to somewhat recover, and he didn't really have did he have any fights announced or anything like that? He did. He had a Michel Pereira, which got canceled, and then he was supposed to fight Jack Della. That's right, and then that got canceled. I think he would have beat Jack Della that night because Jack Della was not ready for that smoke. But, Ty, what do we have odds-wise? That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. Plus 100 for Kelvin Gastelum. So he is a slight underdog to Sean Brady's minus 120, minus 125. Interesting. I don't know if I have a vibe or a feeling on this fight.
No vibe check? Well, I'll say, I feel like Kelvin Gastelum has fought some guys with kind of the Sean Brady prototype, body-wise. Brian Melanson, back in the day, rear naked choked him. Rick Story, when he fought him, he was in some tough spots, got a split. Jake Ellenberger beat him pretty easily. Tyron Woodley went to a split with him. Johnny Hendricks, I think he beat Johnny Hendricks pretty well. Same with Tim Kennedy, knocked out Tim Kennedy. He was big, 185, but still kind of had that Sean Brady, stockiness to him. The Jacare fight, very tough, but he beat him. And what's the other one? I can't think of. The Jack Hermanson fight. So I think he's fought some guys that are similar-ish to Sean Brady. Sean Brady's listed at 5'10". I don't know about that one. That's like Kevin Durant being listed at 6'9". I think that's a little off, if you will. And it's good to see Kelvin getting in good shape. The problem with Kelvin is he's just like sometimes he looks unmotivated. Sometimes he's just a little off. His volume's up, his volume's down. So sometimes I think his performance wanes a little bit from fight to fight. And he's had a lot of fights. He's still pretty young, right? I think he's only 32. They're both, I think, 32. So I don't know. I think he's that Chris Curtis fight was very good. The two fights before, I mean, dude, he's been in. Look, when's he ever gotten not an easy opponent, but a good matchup? Chris Curtis, Cannonier, Whitaker. I guess Ian Heinisch was the last one, and then Hermanson, Till, Adesanya, Jacare, Bisping, Weidman, Vitor. Neil Magny back in the day, dude. I'm looking at his record, and he's just not been in any easy fights. Even his canceled fights: Shavkat, Nassourdine, Dricus, Robert Whitaker, Anderson Silva.
Yeah,
like this guy shows the fuck up. He wants to perform, and I think we know what we have with Kelvin Gastelum, right? He's got great hands. He's got good volume. Really, really good 1-2. I like his jab. He kind of will just, throw it 3 times, 4 times. Great straight left. And I say, though, I've emphasis on the straight left and the jab because Sean Brady gets his nose broken pretty much every fight, it seems like. I think he's kind of a bully mentality. I think he has in there. I think he's a great hammer, bad nail. I still have questions about him. I feel like we've seen a decent amount of Sean Brady. He's 15-1, right? It's not like he has a bunch of losses or anything. I still think I have some questions about his overall game. His last couple fights, I mean, he hasn't been the most active, right? And in the times he fought, I think Jake Matthews busted him up before he got arm triangled. Michael Chiesa in that third round was styling on him, and that's never good if Michael Chiesa is doing that to you. K1 Chiesa. And then the Bilal Muhammad fight, the standing TKO was just brutal, and even before that, he just wasn't looking good. Kelvin Gastelum has that wrestling background, has that really good wrestling, defensively more so than offensively, I think. I feel like he's one of the guys who's never really used his offensive wrestling. So yeah, I guess that's probably how Sean Brady gets it done, right? Bless you. Take a page out of Robert Whitaker's book. Chris Weidman also took him down a bunch of times. Tim Kennedy, Neil Magny, all these guys took Kelvin down multiple times. But I just don't know. I think we have reached a point with Sean Brady that I think he's peaked, he plateaued, and I think he's probably on the way down now. I just don't think he. I think he's going to quit in there. I think he doesn't have the greatest. He doesn't like getting hit. Not that anybody does. I don't want to say he's not a dog or anything. I think he is, but I think he can be outdogged. And I think Kelvin Gastelum's one of the bigger dogs we have in the UFC. So for that reason, I'm taking Kelvin Gastelum money line. I got him to win this fight. I think he could even finish him late. I think round 3 or decision would be a very good hedge or a very good play, if you will. Yeah, I think that's the move.
Yeah, I think I'm probably not going to take anything here because I don't the unknown of what Gastelum's going to look like at 70. He should look good, but I just don't know, and I don't know what kind of adjustments Sean Brady's going to make. He took his first L. I think it's kind of an eye-opening, somewhat experience. Maybe he comes back a better version of himself, but I don't blame you though. It's hard to, we were high on Sean Brady. It's hard to wipe out the image of him getting standing TKO'd against the fence by Bilal Muhammad and looking like he didn't throw a punch back for a straight minute. He was just getting hit and just kind of running around the sides of the cage. It was a bad look. It was really bad, and I don't blame anyone who's taking Gastelum here. I don't have confidence in Sean Brady anymore, and I want to. I am a big fan. I really am, but it's one of those things where you have to prove it. And we have to see it first before we feel good about it. And with this matchup, Sean Brady's going to have to get him to the ground. Can't stand there and trade with him. And Gastelum's not exactly easy to take down, right? So I don't I don't feel good about it. It's not the greatest matchup in the world. So I'm going to stay away from this. I don't feel good about it, but I don't blame anyone who maybe has money on Gastelum like you do, my friend. So we will keep it moving. We have Clay Guida. Wow. Clay Guida still finding his way on the main card. 38-23 against Joaquim Silva.
Insane, dude. That's so crazy.
Silva
Zach Reese on this card is 6-0.
Yeah.
Just saying.
They should have had them fight.
Yeah.
No, I'm scared.
He's a little bit bigger than Clay Guida, I think. But,
so what?
Hey,
it hasn't stopped Clay Guida before. Clay Guida, let him wear a singlet. Plus 260, 250 against Joaquim Silva, minus 310, 350. This seems like a perfect setup for a Mr. Joaquim Silva to just eliminate and take care of business against Clay Guida. But Clay Guida isn't exactly the easiest necessarily to get out of there. I mean, he's been gotten out of there more than a few times. He's been subbed 11 times in his career.
It's wild.
More than any other way that he's lost. It's been submissions.
Only been KO'd twice, which is crazy. I don't know.
So,
dude, remember the one time? No, real quick. You remember the one time? I think I had money on him. Fuck, who was it against? I don't know if it was against Claudio Puelles or Jim Miller. But he got subbed, and then he gets right up before the other guy gets up, and he starts jogging around the octagon. I'm like, bro,
you lost, dude. It's over.
You're gonna insta tap, stand up, and just run circles, do some cardio in the cage before they announce the decision. Like, all right, bro, I'm never betting on you ever again. So, and I'm not gonna do it this Saturday.
I was there when he got guillotined by Jim Miller in Newark. That was
Shout out to Newark.
That was great. That was a great time to be alive. But I guess we're not going to pick Clay Guida. Just I can't imagine either one of us is going to do that. So the option would be, how does he get this done? Inside the distance is minus 105, 110. Submission is plus 400, which that's very appealing. And TKO is plus 150. So I guess Joaquim Silva, his history shows he likes to throw and he likes to bang. So I guess we can't trust him to get a submission. Yeah. What do you like here? Do you think the inside the distance is probably just a safe play and just to go with that?
I like Joaquim Silva inside the distance for sure. I think TKO, he's kind of slow, but man, he has good flying knees and he has power. He has real power. I think Arman Tsarukyan went backstage after their fight, went up to him and said, "You are the hardest hitter I've ever fought." I believe that happened. He does have the world-class jiu-jitsu, but just doesn't really have many subs. He did have Jared Gordon. I think it was Jared Gordon, right? If I'm looking correctly. Yeah, he had him in a tight knee bar in the second round. Choked out Neil Magny in a grappling match, and Neil Magny's a lot bigger than him. So, his grappling is. I just don't see how Clay Guida wins this. Like, is he going to do his awkward movement, like spastic style? I don't think that's really going to work because he doesn't really have much pop behind his punches. It's not like he's the most technical striker. And Joaquin Silva hits hard, man. I just went back and watched that Jared Gordon fight. That fight was a war, dude. Especially the third round. They were just standing there and trading, and they were both pretty much zombies. And then he finished Jared Gordon off against the cage. He had him knocked out cold against the cage. I forget who the ref was. Came in, and then Jared Gordon's body just drops, lifeless, sack of shit. So that was fun. That was fun to watch. And like I said, even in the Tsarukyan fight, he hurt Tsarukyan. He made him do the chicken dance. I think he's gonna. I guess just to be safe, since Clay Guida somehow has only been knocked out twice inside the distance. Joaquin Silva, 100%. I feel like I had something else to say, but I'm not really sure. I guess the only way Clay Guida wins is if he gets that grind him out style where he wrestles him and gets just a bunch of top control. Right? I think that's the only really way he wins. If you look at Clay Guida's last couple wins, Scott Holtzman by split, Leonardo Santos, second round rear naked choke, Michael Johnson decision. Those guys have a combined age of like 630. So, especially Scott Holtzman, that happened like I think a year ago, and Scott Holtzman I think he retired before that fight. So the fact that he was only able to get a split, and the only reason they gave it to him is because his name's Clay Guida. If his name was Matt McSweeney, they probably wouldn't have gave him that win. So, I would have, but I don't think they would have. So,
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, and the Rafa Garcia fight, that guy's just younger, fresher, better. I think this is another case of that Joaquin Silva, Neto BJJ, 34, right? And, he's had some tests. Ricky Glenn, remember he smoked the fuck out of him in like 30 seconds. Nasrat Hakparas with that big left, so I guess he has to watch the left hand. I guess that's his weakness, but either way, Joaquin Silva inside the distance, I think should be easy work, and hopefully we see the last of Clay Guida. I'm sorry, you are an OG, but it's time to hang him up.
I'm going to go Joaquin Silva as well. I think I feel good about that. Inside the distance, minus 110 for the Shoulder Strikes MMA boys. So
lock it in.
We lock that in. We keep it moving to Puna Soriano, Dustin Stoltzfus. Yes, I know that's still on the main card, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe it either. We don't know, and we're not going to understand it at all. So, what are the odds? That's a great question as well. I have to go back and find them, but I have them right now. Stoltzfus is a plus 250 underdog to Puna Soriano's minus 310. I love fading Dustin Stoltzfus, so it seems like I'm going to do that here, but I don't like Puna Soriano. I'll just go out and say that. Not that I don't like him as a person, but as a gambling person, I just he cannot be trusted, and that just goes to show you if he's not fighting Dolce Lugiambula, then I don't like it. But this could look a lot like the Dusko fight, in my opinion. So maybe I just think Stoltzfus is not good. He's just not good, man. I've seen him lose many a time. I've seen him get eliminated many a time. So I don't see why that couldn't happen here.
Hey, he has a winner with Joe Pyfer.
Yeah, and we all know what happened there. Come on.
A win is a win is a win is a win. That's what I've been told. Yeah, no, I mean, he got taken down and controlled by Dawkins. Same thing. He actually outstruck Rodolfo Vieira, but I think, Rodolfo Vieira kind of lets that happen. The Mearshar fight, he actually got a couple takedowns himself, but I think he got thrown into a couple guillotines and then ended up getting rear naked choked. I got outstruck, but outlasted Dwight Grant in a very boring fight, and then got a big toe to the mouth from a boost. That shit looked like it didn't look fun. I'll say that. I think that Dustin Stoltzfus, the thing with him is, anytime I've heard about him or seen anything about him, I feel like he's kind of well-rounded, like he's decent in everything. I've heard good things about him in the gym, that he's just a savage. So I'm not sure about his mental game. Maybe he folds under the bright lights, maybe. I don't know if that's a thing. Usually he seems pretty durable, and then he gets front kicked in the face. I guess there's really nothing he could do about that, but he does have a black belt. So I think, and also Puna has, I don't know if it's D2 or D3 wrestling credentials. So they both have parts of their game that I don't think they really use to their best abilities, or they don't really either guy really maximize their potential. Puna Haley Soriano is still very young. I think he only has 10 wins, right? Yeah, he's 9-3. And I feel like he's always been a guy, I thought, at least. I don't know if I still think this way. I guess we'll have to see what happens this Saturday. I always thought he had more than he showed. He's kind of like that Vitor stand and bang style.
Yeah.
not a great round winner, and he slows down also as fights go on because he throws a lot of just power. He kind of wings punches sometimes. I think I had him, if I remember correctly, in his last fight against Kopylov, yeah. Which, looking back, probably shouldn't have done that. Roman Kopylov's a savage. Maximov, Brendan Allen. I mean, he went the distance with Brendan Allen, so he hasn't fought the worst. He's fought some decent guys, is what I meant to say. Looking at his fight stats, not great. Like, he takes more shots than he lands. His not very accurate. His takedown defense isn't great. So I'm not really sure how this fight's going to go. Like, is Dustin Stoltzfus going to go for takedowns? He did that against GM3, but then he got subbed. So I really think I don't know. I really don't know. Actually, I kind of want to take Puna late. Like, I think he's going to be able to finish him. I think both guys are going to wear down. And Dustin Stoltzfus' stand-up is not as good as Puna. I think Puna's got a better jab, better. I think he's a southpaw. So I think he's going to create some mismatches there. And as the fight goes on, he's still that power is going to continue. And Dustin doesn't like being hit, it seems. So let me just stay away. If I had a pick, if I had a bet, it would be Puna like round 2 or round 3. My pick is Puna inside the distance, though.
Are you putting that on the card?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take Puna TKO plus 125. I don't trust Dustin Stoltzfus' chin, and I'm worried about a submission. But like you said, Dustin Stoltzfus has pretty good jiu-jitsu, so I'm going to count on him being able to defend himself in that way while getting cleaned out at some point. I don't trust Puna to get it done inside the distance either, though. Like, there's some fights where he kind of coasts a little bit and lets the decision happen, and I'm like, wow, we could have gotten him out of there. Or that's usually in losing efforts, though. I think he's going to be on the upper hand on this one, and I think he's eventually just going to find this man's chin and get him out of there. So, Puna Soriano, TKO plus 125. That is the main card, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to move on to the prelims. Don't tune out now. Don't go anywhere. Here we are.
Where are you going?
Where are you going? You got nowhere to go. You have to listen about Miesha Tate and Julia Avila. Wow. I mean, you want to talk about Miesha Tate going back up to 35. She took enough beatings down at 25, so she has decided to go back to her home where she was the champion at 35 to fight Julia Avila, the Raging Panda. What?
Just terrible.
Is that has that always been her nickname?
That's her Instagram handle as well. Yeah, that's
right.
It.
Well, she actually just recently rear naked choked. Well, that's not recently, in 2021. She rear naked choked Julia JSP Stolyarenko. And I know all of you out there who have listened to this podcast know how much of fans we are of her. Ty, is this fight bettable?
No, I think you stay away from this bet at all costs. I mean, Julia Avila, what is she, 35? And Miesha Tate's 37. So they're neither are young. Miesha Tate is just pretty much washed up. I mean, she has that one-dimensional 2005 women's MMA fight style where she just wants to wrestle you and that's it, and just kind of smother you and get on top. That's pretty much all she's going to look to do. I don't know. Is this her last one? I got one more in me, like Vince Carter said. I don't know about that. I mean, Julia Avila also has question marks. I mean, she just had a kid a year ago.
Yep.
And women's, from what I've heard, when women fight, their first fight after pregnancy is not great. Not great. I think they need some time to kind of get in there. She also ballooned. That sounds kind of mean. She ballooned up to 225 during her pregnancy, or a little bit after her pregnancy. But if you look on her Instagram, she's in great shape. So I think she's ready to go. Like I said, not young, but I feel like she hasn't had that many fights. She hasn't had that much damage accumulate over the years. Did she tear her ACL too? No, that was somebody else. Sorry. What do I take from this? It's this woman's first fight back from pregnancy, and it's Miesha Tate who's still fighting in the year 2023, almost 2024. I think she made her pro debut in 2007. Yeah, she actually lost to Caitlin Young, and then she fought Jan Finney, who I believe I've heard of. Jan Finney. That sounds not Dorian Finney-Smith, but Jan Finney. Yeah, she got absolutely aborted by Chris Cyborg way back in the day in Strikeforce. So I mean, dude, she's fought a lot. I mean, Miesha Tate, she fought Ronda in Strikeforce. then she fought her in the UFC. She fought Kat Zingano, Liz Carmouche, Sarah McMahon, Jessica Ai, Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes, Raquel. But like her last fights, dude, Lauren Murphy smoked her easily. Lauren Murphy's like 50. Ketlin Vieira walked through her. Marion Renault was probably winning that fight, and Marion Renault quite literally. Wait, let's see. Hold on. Okay, is almost 50. She's 46, and she she was another one who retired before that fight even happened. So we knew what was up there. And then you have to go way back to that Holly Holm win in 2016, which she was losing, and she pulled a rabbit out of her head and gave Holly her first loss. I think Misha's cooked. I just think she's absolutely cooked. I was never a big Julia Avila fan, but I think she's got more in her game. I think she's stronger. I think she's probably better in the clinch, better against the cage, better at getting it to the ground, or better getting up off the ground at this stage in her career. It's crazy. She's only 3-1 in the UFC. I feel like she's been around forever, but I think she's going to win this fight probably by decision. I mean, she has a couple finishes, but remember she knocked out Gina Mazzani, kneed her to the body in like 20 seconds.
Good.
That was it for Gina Mazzani, Kennedy. No, not Kennedy. What's his name? Elliot. Gina Mazzani, Elliot Froome.
Fuck him and fuck her. I don't support that behavior, but I'm staying away from this. I'm with you, though. I think I would bet Julia Avila. And she went to Notre Dame, so that's all I needed to say.
Shout out to Fighting Irish.
There you go. Now we have
Hopefully they get Riley Leonard. My sources are telling me Riley Leonard is flirting with the idea of coming to Notre Dame. That would be big.
He's a 10 out of 10 lock on 24/7. That's very rare, apparently. So
I like that. As long as he doesn't go to A&M, because I want A&M to suffer.
Yeah, I screw Mike Elko. How about Cody Brundage? Wow. How about it, man? The human money factory. Cody Brundage. He's getting in there. I mean, he fucked us over in that Jacob Malkoon fight.
I was going to say, that was the only blemish, and even then we should have got a W.
Yeah, but guess what, bro? Zach Reese is here to get it back in blood, and he's going to do what needs to be done. If there's not blood leaking from Cody Brundage's face, then we haven't done this the right way. Last time Zach Reese fought was on the Contender Series. He armbarred a Eli Aronov. Oh my God, that's right. The Israeli tank. 5'9". Jesus, he was way on. He should not. Holy shit. That guy has a 55 pack. All right, that's right. I remember talking about that fight. But in all seriousness, this guy has good jiu-jitsu, and I think he's much bigger than Cody Brundage, and Cody Brundage is a quitter. So I'm going to count on him quitting in this one. Give me a nice quit here, Cody. Give me one more, because this is probably the last hurrah.
Absolutely, yeah.
I sure hope so for all of our cases.
The last of the Mohicans.
He's minus 180 for inside the distance, so they know the quit is on.
They know something. But do they know what we know?
Do they know what we know? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even
Zach
know.
Reese by TKO KO in round 1 is plus 320. I'm going to take that. Listen. I'm ready for this guy. So there's just not much on him, right? When you watch him fight on the Contender Series against Mr. Aronov, I think he got hit a couple times, right, and then he got taken down, but he got that armbar, which was nasty. I believe I bet on Eli Aronov on that. I think he was the last leg of a D-Gen parlay, and I was like, oh, we're looking good, and then he's like, oh, I'm good. I'm gonna go back to Israel and not fight this guy anymore. All this guy's finishes or fights have been 4 minutes or less. Half of them have ended under a minute. He hasn't fought anybody at all.
Well, he's not really fighting anybody here.
Yeah, and in his last fight, he was fighting Jacob Malkoon, and he had to, take the coward's way out to get a win. But he got the win, right? He gets the win bonus. Hooray! I guess.
Congratulations, Cody.
I think I'm with you here. It's funny because I think I've heard good things about Cody Brundage in the gym as well, but I just think he's probably good hammer, bad nail. And also, I think he's kind of like Dustin Stoltzfus, kind of maybe a mental midget. Maybe he just folds under the bright lights. As soon as he makes that octagon walk, it's just like, I'm not, my volume is going to be low, and I'm just going to shoot for takedowns, and that's it. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to quit. Remember who's the big fuck? William Knight. When he fought William Knight, he had, I think he was on top of him. He got swept, elbowed twice, and then he said, I'm good. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home and go to LFA. Fight Joseph Crapshot, get a nice win, come back to the UFC.
Dude,
Nick Maximoff,
the
easy
night
work.
he fought fucking Tresean Gore, he looked like the greatest MMA fighter of all time.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of that was because Tresean Gore, 3-1 at the time, and also, when's the last time we saw Tresean Gore? I guess it was last year when he fought Josh. I'm not your friend.
Oh, well, that was a bad matchup.
That was bad. Yeah. But we've seen Michael Olszewczuk, that fight smoked him in the first time he got
to fight Bo Nickel last year.
Jesus Christ!
Smart move pulling out of that one, pal.
Yeah, you saved yourself a nice loss there, Trey. And then the Dumas fight was just terrible. I mean, I don't even rate Dumas highly, and at that point, I didn't even rate him that highly. It was a couple months ago. But man, and even the Rodolfo Vieira, they tried to give him a guy who, can quit on him and he can be able to get a comeback win. He couldn't do that. So I just think he's cooked. I don't know much about Zach Reese whatsoever. Zach Aston Reese, this guy from the Penguins, I'm not sure. Fighting out of Shiner, Texas. Not sure about that one. Born in Houston. Trains at War Training Center. Let's see who trains there. I don't know any of these people. I know Trevin Giles, Anthony Ivy, that bum. Charlie Ontiveros. Oh, wow. Joseph Holmes. These are some really good fighters that he's training with.
UFC feeder program. Oh, my God.
So we'll see. Maybe Zach Reese is the next thing smoking. I don't know, but I'm taking a chance on a first round TKO. I think as soon as he... Yeah, the problem is I wish I knew if this guy had any wrestling or jiu-jitsu or back anything, because he's a big dude, so maybe Brundage can, just kind of shoot far out, grab a single, grab a double, and maybe that's it. Maybe he can just do that, and that's his path to victory. I wouldn't be surprised because Mr. Eli Aronoff took down Reese on the Contender Series. Yeah. But maybe that's just to set up an armbar. I don't know. Either way, should I just take? Maybe I'll just take him round one. Yeah. Let's do that. Zach Reese round one
plus 130.
Jeez, that's it, man. Christ Almighty.
I mean, it's still good. It's still a good number. I mean, it's obviously they know what's going to happen. So
they know. We all know.
I am taking Zach Reese submission plus 240. I like. Right. Well, I think the way Cody Brundage is good, like you said, he's a shoot fest. So he's going to keep trying to get this close into the ground. Zach Reese has a lot of submissions, not just he has 2 submissions in his professional, but in his amateur career, it was the last 3 were guillotine, triangle, rear naked. It seems like that's
guillotine.
The way he wants to. Yeah. And I don't know. I don't feel really great about this at all, but we're
taking a big shot.
Yeah, I think the style of fight is going to play into a submission, so that's what I'm hoping for. But
let's fucking do it, dude.
This fight's kind of buried. This next one, Joe Selecki and Drakkar Klose, who you mentioned we were going to talk about. Drakkar Klose had a rough
Draco?
Big Draco had a little rough go at it a little bit back there when he was getting concussed by Jeremy Stevens on the before the fight even started on the stage.
Yeah, that guy's a clown, by the way, for doing that. I know he tried saying, all I did was push him. He just doesn't want to fight.
He pushed the shit out of him, dude.
Yeah, he pushed the shit out of him when he didn't expect it, so his body kind of, he got whiplash.
While he's dehydrated.
Yeah, that's just, I'm glad Jeremy Stevens is boxing and doing terribly now. So,
well, he's coming off of 2 wins. One against the human highlight reel, Brandon Jenkins.
That's right.
And the other one against Hoffa Garcia, gifted Hoffa Garcia, that is to you out there. So that was a pretty good win. But what do you say here? I mean, Joe Selecki, obviously, I'm a huge fan of. Has his jiu-jitsu. Respect. Don't ever forget it. He is coming off of a win against Carl Deaton, where he just backpacked that gentleman the entire fight.
Yeah.
Made it look easy.
What a signing that guy was.
Joe Selecki's the underdog here, plus 120 to Drakkar Klose's minus 140, minus 125. Do you think, I need to ask you, does Joe Selecki get this to the ground? Does he get him out of there, or does Drakkar Klose piece him up on the feet?
I believe Drakkar Klose has a college wrestling background, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look for specifics. College.
Foundation is a wrestling, so.
North Idaho, baby. So, yeah, I mean, and Lindenwood, which is in the great state of Kansas. Unless it's in Missouri. The awful state of Missouri, that is. So he has a wrestling background. He hasn't fought in a while because, remember, the Jeremy Stevens thing, and then he also tore his ACL. So it's been about a year and a half, I think. And not to try to be funny, but every Drakkar fight is very close. All of his fights are close.
Come on.
I'm just saying. I hate to do that, but a lot of his fights, end up being close. Like, he has high highs and low lows kind of. Even the Hoffa Garcia fight wasn't that, it was kind of close. Christos Iago, same thing. And then the Dariush, also remember the David Tamer fight. I don't know how he lost that one. And Mark DeCasey went to a split. When he was in RFA, he had a couple close decisions. So I think he's a guy that does fight on very thin margins. We haven't seen him in so long. I just, I don't know. I know we know what we have with Joe Selecki. He's got the really good BJJ. His wrestling's not good. He's kind of like Mackenzie Dern as a male, I feel like. I don't know if that's...
His wrestling's not that bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not Mackenzie Dern bad. That's a whole nother level. Yeah.
Also, I think his stand-up is improving offensively. Joe Selecki's kind of like Dern, but he does not like getting hit, man. His chin's bad. His cardio's bad. Those two things are, you just can't have that, right? And I think the Gordon fight, was close. Remember, he got knocked out by Nicholas Mota back in the day.
Yeah, that was bad.
864 fighting championship. I'm not sure if they're still around anymore.
Shout out.
And then I think he lost the Alex De Silva fight, but whatever. Either way, I just don't trust his cardio or chin. So I'm gonna go Jakar Close. I'm gonna go. Hold on, wait for it.
Wow.
I'm gonna go Jakar Close inside the distance.
Wow.
I think he's gonna get it done late.
Plus 275.
I hate to fade both of the Philly guys, but I'm doing it, and I'm doing it well.
I'm doing it and doing it and doing it well. All right, so that is plus 275. That's a good number on that, though. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think if Close wins this fight, it's going to be like a steamrolling in a sense. I just submissions plus 360, dude.
He has 0 subs. I'm sorry.
Who? Jakar Close.
You're talking about Selecki.
I'm talking about Selecki, brother. And he has 8 submissions. How many has Close ever been submitted? Probably not, right?
No,
and that's concerning. But I always look at it as. There's always a first for everything, ladies and gentlemen. So I have to just take this out of respect. This is a respect bet. I'm not using any thought, knowledge, or I would not take this if things were even. But it's Joe Selecki. It's Hassett Jiu-Jitsu, and he is going to find a way to find that man's neck. So give me plus 360.
I'm going to switch Close to TKO.
Whoa.
So you're sub against my TKO. Let's see what we got
Hold
here,
on
buddy.
Here. TKO. Yep. What number are we getting that at? We are getting plus 390.
Plus 15,000. No, I'm kidding.
That would be sick. Plus 390. Selecki sub.
What's yours?
Plus 360, I believe.
Oh, the battle of the plus 300s. Let's go.
All right. Well, hopefully one of us.
300 was a great movie. 300 was a great movie.
Was.
So I think I got it here. I think that's my thinking.
Steve Garcia. Melchizal Costa. Wow, got that one right. Melky Coffee. Melk Coffee. Okay, I don't know what kind of nickname that is, but that is his nickname. Steve Garcia is the Mean Machine. The Mean Machine, last time out, just eliminated Shylan Nordin-Pique, and he also destroyed Chase Hooper one of the last times he was out, too. So
remember that one.
He got destroyed by Mahashate as well, which is not a good look looking back.
That was also Mahashate Hayazar. They added his last name? He's not Mahashate.
Yeah, he's not just Mahashate anymore.
What the fuck?
I know.
You can't just do that.
I'm with you.
Can you?
I don't think you can. I don't think you should be able to, but I guess...
Like, what if Seal, next thing you know, Seal Jones or Madonna Williams? It's like, no.
I don't think so.
We're not doing that.
You're not allowed to do that.
You're Ichiro. You're not Ichiro Suzuki, even though Suzuki, badass last name also. But
Melchizal Costa is a minus 250, 245 favorite. Steve Garcia is plus 210, 200. I don't know if I necessarily like anything here. I would lean Costa just because Steve Garcia has shown he's not very trustworthy, and Costa's only losses to Thiago Moises, who is pretty good, but he's not looked that great as of recent also. So I just don't know what to think here.
Yeah, I feel like Garcia's the bigger guy. I don't know if he has a longer reach. It looks like they're the same. But Steve Garcia is bigger, even though he likes to fight. Like, he likes to brawl, fight on the inside. And Melk, I shout out to Melky Cabrera. I think Melk, he's not as long, but he likes to fight at distance. He likes to fight long and move around, right? He moves really well, good kicks, goes to the body very well, also goes for the kill. So sometimes you will see, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Steve Garcia likes to go for the kill.
Yeah,
so sometimes he gets dropped and hit. He pushes a good pace. But the thing with Melky, I feel like he lets guys off the hook. Again, he has awesome kicks. He's really good. He's really good at spinny stuff and flying knees. If you're a good flying knee guy, that can really, that's a huge X factor in any fight. So I like the timing. I like the speed of Melk. I think his last fight was a big fight, a big step, I should say, in the right direction. Because I think before that we saw a little bit, but we weren't sure because of the Moises fight, and even back when he was in the LFA, he took a couple losses that probably shouldn't have happened. Just kind of getting controlled and not fighting smart. Really, I think it's about fight IQ for him. He has a bunch of fights, but not many in the UFC. So I think now, what is he? 1-1. Boom. You get 2 fights under your belt against Moises and Lingo. Tough fight against Moises, and then a kind of a good bounce back spot against Lingo. So I like it. I don't know if he finishes Garcia or not. I keep hiccuping. Sorry.
Whoa.
Garcia. I don't know. He's sneaky good. I think he's 3-2 in the UFC. He was 5-2 in Bellator. Has some pretty good wins under his belt. His losses are pretty tough. Remember, he lost to Tercios way back in the day. Joe Warren, Alan Cruz, Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, and then your boy Mahashate. So I don't know what to think of him. He's very back and forth, very up and down. What is he, 31? So this is probably the prime, his prime, I should say. Melky still has a ways to go. I don't know, man. I'm going to take Melky, but I have no bet because I could see him, kind of giving this fight up in the 3rd round if he's tired after pushing that pace. But I could also see him getting Steve Garcia out of here with a nice body shot or a flying knee or something. So I'm going to stay away.
I could also see Steve getting him out of there too, just because he's hell on wheels, man. He really just throws hammers the other way. And if you
want to fade Jackson Wink MMA, which where Steve Garcia trains, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a fun thing to do, but I'm staying away as well. I'm probably with you on leaning Melky or Melk, but there you go, the Milkman. Ihor Potiera, who is a human fade machine for me, just because he does that stupid sword celebration after he fights, and he also, after he knocked out Mauricio Shogun Hua, acted like he had just eliminated Prime Anderson Silva, which really still pisses me off.
It was in Brazil, though. That was kind of crazy.
It was, but I still hold that grudge, and then I was glad that Carlos Olberg was able to just smash his fucking face in. So
yeah, that was good.
There's that. He's fighting Rodolfo Bellato, who is coming off of the Contender Series, who were in a fight where he was. Who was the guy he was? Oh, that's right. We talked about him.
Canelo. The dude from Bahrain.
Yeah, he fought Bahrainian Canelo. Dagestani Canelo.
He was a big underdog, too, if I remember correctly, Bellato was, because I think that was his 3rd or 2nd Contender Series fight. He had fought Vitor Petrino, I think it was in Petrino's debut, and he got fucking smoltered within 30 seconds, and then he fought again on the Contender Series. And he was actually doing well that time against Petrino, but he got, dusted off yet again. I think he actually hurt Petrino and then almost armbarred him, if I remember correctly, in that fight. But yeah, he's a Brazilian banger. He's got heavy kicks, pretty good Brazilian jiu-jitsu as well. The X factor here is his clinch knees. I think he looks to that a lot when he fought that dude in LFA, Matheus Massaro. Is 12-1, so not very good, but he did what he had to do. A lot of clinch knees. I've seen that a lot with him in his highlight reel. He did it against Talha as well. So I think that's going to be a very big point of emphasis in this fight because Ihor Potiera, we've seen before get broken down. Mr. Nick, Mr. Nick broke him down with good clinch knees as well. And same with Carlos Olberg. Carlos Olberg got him in the clinch and was doing good things. And then he hit him with that left hook, dropped him. Yeah, I mean, this guy's a fraud, Ihor Potiera. They brought him in. I don't know why, but they brought him in, right? I mean, look at his record. Completely padded. Just in 2019, he was 15-2, fought an 0-3 guy, went the distance with Mr. Nikolai Garbuz. And if you look at his picture, you're like, yo, what factory did they yank him out on his lunch break and say, yo, bro, come take this fight? He's 0-6 in his career. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't know.
Kind of speaks for itself. It's a tough situation.
I'm trying to go back and look at this guy that Potier fought in the Contender Series and see how that guy's been doing. 2-2 in his last 4. So, maybe he's not the worst guy in the world. Oh, he went to KSW and got pasted twice. So that'll do it to you. If you listen, everybody thinks they're gangster until they go to KSW and fight with those huge ads on their back. Yep. Then you get smoked by some guy who's like 285 pounds, fucking Polish muscle, and you're like, yeah, I got to get out of this country. But I say all that to say Rodolfo Bellato, huge favorite. I guess he should be, but I don't think he's that good. But he has been tested. Oddly enough, more than Potier is, double the amount of fights. Yeah, I guess give me Bellato by fucking something. TKO, sub, something. I think inside the distance is safe. I love to see the line on that. If you could help me out there.
What inside the distance is -250, I believe.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna sit back with my popcorn at work and not watch this fight. And Potier should get dusted off, and eventually we can get one more fight out of him. I think Potier, and then he'll lose, and then he'll get cut.
I just don't know. Yeah, like I would have bet this, but I'm gonna stay away because I don't know how it gets done. I think he finishes him, but he's got 6 TKOs, 4 submissions. Potier has shown he likes to get finished a little bit, so he's never been subbed. He's been TKO'd a lot. So actually, you know what? I will bet it. I'll take the TKO. I think I'll take what the typical thing that's expected to happen, and we got +120 Bellato TKO.
Bang.
So what do we have next, ladies and gentlemen? We have Wellington Turman. Wow, against Jared Gooden. Wow, Night Train Gooden. That is to you. He's coming off a loss to Carlston Harris. He's made his return to the UFC. They are just trying to set him up with people that they are trying to build up, and that being Wellington Turman, who you just never tell what version of this gentleman's going to show up. He's either the man, or he's just getting cooked and wrestle fucked, or he's winning a split decision where he's getting points taken away from Sam Alvey. It's all over the place. But Wellington Turman is a -200 favorite to Jared Gooden. I want nothing to do with this fight.
Jared Gooden, if I asked you how old he was, what would you think?
Probably like 37.
Yeah, he's 29.
Holy shit.
Somehow he's our age. And he is like, I think 22 and 9. He's got 31 fights at 29. He's an Atlanta, Georgia dog, bulldog, possibly, if you will. I'm not sure if he's a UGA fan from Gwinnett. One of my favorite YouTubers, YouTube podcaster, MMA guys, Big Dan Levy. Shout out to Dan. He's good friends with Jared Gooden, so he was able to give a pretty good breakdown, non-biased too. I think he I don't know. I don't know what to. I guess Turman's dropping down to 170, so that's something you have to look at, right?
I think it's his second fight at 70. I think he fought Randy Brown at 170 as well.
There you go. When Gooden fought Carlston Harris, he fought that on like 3 days notice. I thought he was like, I don't know. There was definitely a little bit of hype behind him before, but now I don't know. Both guys. I think the loser of this is done. I think is what this fight is. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really have a good read on this. Like Turman's very chinny, but he also has a pretty nasty left hook, good calf kicks, good black belt, right? But we've seen him just fold. He's now training with Alex Pereira and Glover, so that's good. But maybe they're just beating the shit out of him and sparring, so maybe that's not good. I don't know. These guys have a combined 4-9 record in the UFC, so yeah. I don't know. I truly have no idea. So I'm going to stay away from this fight. I think Gooden it's very safe to bet against him usually, but it's also the same could be said for Turman. So again, if I had to, gun to my head, I think I'm picking Wellington Turman. But -200 is kind of wild, but maybe it's not. Jared Gooden, again, like I said, he's not very good in.
No, yeah, he's not very good in. So I have nothing either. I'm going to stay away. I don't like anything. We got Jamie Lynn Horth against Veronica.
Muscles.
Don't call me Hardy. No, actually, you can call me Hardy. What was her old name? Macedo? Yeah, Macedo. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Shout out to Dan Hardy.
Veronica Macedo Hardy, by the way, is just beautiful. I'm sorry. Just like looking at her, she is just a beautiful Like, she has a beautiful face. I'm sorry.
Well, she's the underdog here, Ty. All right, does that upset you? She's plus 160 to Jamie Lynn Horth's minus 180, 190. So a considerable favorite. What do you like here? Are you going to bet with your girl? Jamie Lynn Horth is 1-0, I believe, in the UFC against Haley Cohen.
Yeah.
That didn't do much for me. I'm staying away from this fight.
Yeah. Horth coming down also from 135 to 125 after she fought Haley Cohen, who's pretty much a 145er. She's a big girl. And she pretty much out-physicaled Haley Cohen. So I don't see why she's not going to do the same thing here. She likes to put you against the cage. She likes to grind on you, throw clinch knees, and just kind of wear you down. She has a bunch of different finishes. I like that. Not many fights, so she's still improving. She is 33, but I don't know if that matters here. She's much bigger, much more physical than Veronica Hardy. Like I said, she has a body kick knockout, punches, strikes, a couple rear naked chokes. She has 2 wins over Lupe Godinez as an amateur, one by split, one by unanimous decision. And the thing with Veronica, she's only 28, but man, I just can't stop thinking about how she took all that time off after she fought Bia Malecki, of all people. Or no, that was after she took time off, right, and then came back to fight. No, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. She fought Bia Malecki, got her head bounced around, and she had some concussions, headaches for years. So, to fight one of the worst UFC fighters ever in Bia Malecki, and takes considerable damage enough to where you have to retire for a couple of years. Funny enough, Bia Malecki, not funny, but ironically enough, Bia Malecki also had to do the same thing. After she fought Minnie Nunes, she had to call it quits because she was just getting, she said, I'm done with this. I'm going to go model in Sweden or something. So that was bad. I mean, her last win was, her only recent win is Juliana Filler Miller. And I don't think we rate that win highly at all. I mean, I remember I had her. Did I have her against Juliana? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. She was a huge underdog. So I just think she's up against it here. I mean, dude, I saw people bet Veronica Hardy at minus money on Twitter. I saw a couple of people say, yeah, this is a good spot. Now she's like plus 150, so not a good spot. I think she's quick, good kicks, but she's just small. She's just, she moves pretty well, but she's not very well rounded, I guess. And I think Jamie Lynn Horth, honestly, she's a little older. She, still very inexperienced, but she's physical, man. And she's coming down too, so she's going to be much, much bigger, much stronger. She's going to dictate whatever this fight takes place, wherever, whatever it does, whatever happens. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to take Jamie Lynn Horth inside the distance.
Wow. I might bet this with you because I like that. I was just looking at the same thing. She fought her last fight at 35. I believe it was on a short notice situation, and then she was like a 25 champion in the other organization.
PFL or whatever the fuck it's called.
Whatever the fuck that she was in. But Horth inside the distance is plus 240. I'm taking it.
Let's go, dude.
And that is UFC Austin. The crowd will be electric for this Horth fight. It'll be absolutely crazy. I know everyone will be in their seats ready to go. Plus 240. And that is do we have any boxing or anything before we get out of here? I know we've held the people on long enough. I don't think there's anything else we really got to discuss.
We do. Also, just random boxing note, David Benavidez, his 2024 plan after destroying Demetrius Andrade, said he wants to fight Canelo. Well, let me get this order right, because this is pretty wild. It's not going to happen. I mean, boxers say, the darnest things. He wants Canelo, then he wants Artur Beterbiev, and then he wants Dimitri Bivol, all in the same calendar year. Good luck, buddy. Also, Mike Tyson's talking about David Benavidez. You'll see him fight at heavyweight and win a championship eventually there. Let's slow down. He's at 168, right? Heavyweight's about 100 pounds-ish more. Especially for him. He's always been a big boy. Let's fight Canelo first, and then maybe we can talk about fighting Alexander Usyk. Let's just kind of slow down with that talk. But like I said, dude, all the Mexican fighters, all the legends, nobody really cares about Canelo. It's kind of crazy, honestly. Morales, Barrera, Marquez, none of them besides De La Hoya are really in Canelo's corner. So, and that's not the guy I want in my corner. So, I'm excited for David Benavidez and what he does. He just took place in the last Showtime pay-per-view, a boxing pay-per-view ever, RIP. I think there's one more boxing, Showtime boxing event in December, right? It's David Morrell. He's also a really good fighter at 168. he's going to take. I forget who else is on that card, but either way, this weekend we have Ryan Garcia, Oscar Duarte on DAZN, December 2nd, taking place. Also, Houston, Texas, at the Toyota Center. So Texas is, they're churning out fight. Listen, Texas, the Rangers might not get Shohei Ohtani, but they're definitely trying to put on some fights this weekend. So we'll see. I like Duarte. I don't think he's a layup at all. He looked really good in his last fight against D'Angelo Keys. I think he's got 10 finishes in a row since he lost to where the fuck did he lose to? Adrian Estrella, who pretty decent, just journeyman fighter, who has a loss to Ergashev, who I don't know if you watched his past card, but Mr. Shojahan Ergashev, tough Uzbek guy. He fought Subriel Matias on the undercard of Benavidez Andrade. That fight was crazy. Subriel Matias is supposed to be the next Puerto Rican star in 140. Since what's his name, Felix Verdejo, killed his pregnant wife.
Jesus,
he will not be threw her over the bridge. Even
what the
so,
fuck?
He will not be a part of the boxing future for the great country of Puerto Rico. Yeah, he won't be, unfortunately. Subriel Matias, though, he will be. He is 31. I think he has 5 wins in a row where the other guy just said, I'm not getting off this stool. I'm good. I don't think I've ever seen guys have a winning streak of corner stoppages. So that's pretty crazy. 2 in a row by the 5th round. He's a savage. Also, Jamal Charlo was on that card. Looked very good against Jose Jr. Wish he got the finish, but he looked really good against a guy who, Jose Benavidez was a once top prospect until he got shot in the leg. And so he can't move as well, obviously, as you can imagine. But yeah, that was the boxing from this past weekend. We have, again, Ryan Garcia, Oscar Duarte. I'm going to look up real quick to see if there's anything else on that undercard. I really doubt it because I think this is supposed to be a, kind of a tune-up, get-right fight for Ryan. But sometimes we see that in boxing. It doesn't work that way, right? You think you have some layup in front of you and he hits you or he takes your shots and you're like, fuck, man, I don't know what to do. I'm good. Shane Mosley Jr. is on this card. So, yeah, it's that shows you how it is.
Welcome
Cancun
to boxing.
are the promoters with Golden Boy Promotions. So, yeah, also we forgot to talk about this. BKFC tonight or tomorrow. I'm sorry. Saturday. I thought they usually do Friday night fights. BKFC. Nope. Who do you got in the main event? No jokes, no skits, no bits. I am actually looking forward to Eddie Alvarez, Mike Perry at 175, which is kind of crazy for Mr. Eddie. Eddie says he's bringing the fighting spirit of Kensington, PA, to this fight. What do you think?
Yeah. So. I mean, you got to pick Mike Perry. That's more in his neighborhood. He is the also, Mike Tyson of BKFC.
Yeah, he really is. He's coming off of a win against Luke Rockhold. It was huge. That's a big boy. And Eddie Alvarez is, I don't want to say he's small, but he's, he's not that big. Also, was that 4-0 in BKFC or in bare knuckles, I should say 3-0 for Mike Perry. Dude, how about Mike Perry? If he finishes off Eddie Alvarez, he's going to have wins over Michael Venom Page, Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez, back-to-back in BKFC. That's kind of crazy, because you got to remember, he's only 32. His UFC run didn't go as planned. He had a couple wins, but, he beat Paul Felder, which was wild. But, he went 7-8, and it was a lot of bad losses and a lot of average wins. So to see where he is now, I mean, he's a crazy man. Listen to him talk is awesome. But if he could do this, that'd be crazy. Co-main event, Ben Rothwell. Big Ben Rothwell. He's 42. He's fighting Todd Duffy, who is somehow only 37. Todd Duffy, last time he fought Phil DeFries in KSW and he got smoked. And they also ran that fight back from 12 years prior, which was crazy. I didn't even know we were doing that. But, Ben Rothwell, I think, is coming off a couple wins, so don't slow him down, dude. Don't tell him he can't fight anymore. Also on this main card, Jeremy Stevens, we were just talking about him, will be taking on Jimmy Rivera, El Terror. I guess he's in bare knuckle now, too. I didn't even know that.
Beck Rollins getting in there.
She's defending her belt, dude. She's she's actually lost 3 in a row. How does she have a belt? She doesn't. Okay. She lost to Christine Feria, who has the belt. I'm so sorry. She actually has no wins. So Beck Rawlings back to WWE, possibly?
I hope not. Hope not for everybody.
Arnold Adams, the heavyweight champion, is fighting Mick Terrell. They're running it back. The last time they fought, I was there. I was in attendance, and I remember watching. It was the Van Zandt Ostovich card. Arnold Adams slept Mick Terrell, so they're running it back for whatever reason. Arnold Adams' last fight, he didn't do so well against Alan Belcher, but he's done pretty well for himself in BKFC.
So he's the champion? Who's the champion?
He's the heavyweight champion, yes, Arnold Adams.
How does he still have it after he just got eliminated by Alan Belcher?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know.
And he's also buried on like the prelims of this event somehow, or I guess everything's a main card. Or I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't even know. I guess it's for the belt that he doesn't have, that neither guy has.
Nice.
There you go. We're just giving Mike Jones also. Who? Mike Jones is also on this card, fighting out of Utah, so that should be good for him.
What a night! What a night of fights, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy that one. Make sure
Saturday's gonna be wild.
Put the crack pipe down before you go purchase that one, because if you do, you're absolutely out of your fucking mind. But
I mean, listen, we're gonna get Tsarukyan, and then a little bit after that, we're gonna get Mike Perry, Eddie Alvarez, and a little bit after that, we're gonna get Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of jokes and skits for this whole night of fighting, but at least around 9, 10 o'clock, I guess like 10, 11, we're gonna get some pretty good fights.
I forgot that Mike Perry beat Michael Venom Page in bare knuckle boxing. That was wild, insane. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You got a nice hour and 26 minutes of pure gold, and you have everything you need to know going into this weekend. My name is Matt McSweeney.
I'm Ty Capone.
And as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you put your hands on your knees, make sure you are shaking your ass for Drake.